Hello and welcome to Geekatplay Studio Tutorials. In this tutorials we're going to look how to create this scenery. Mostly notice we work with the special terrain to create it. Also apply those function editor dreaming texture placement. You'll notice how in low areas we have different colorizations, same as on a peaks. We also look how to create this backdrop with stars, planets, and also we'll look how to create a very simple model when we need it. For example, this rocket, it's always modeling with a simple object inside the view, and you can do same for simple modules when you need to place them in a view, and it's much easier and fast way to do. Also, we'll look on some optional how to do some small post-processing inside the Photoshop. All the projects and backdrops and everything also included with tutorials if you purchase. So if you don't feel familiar or comfortable to create some, you can just download the project files or separate components and use them in your work. So let's go ahead and start working on this tutorial. Okay, let's create our terrain. And I'm just going to create a high field normal terrain inside the view. We'll zoom out, move a little bit up so we can preview. Okay, next we'll go double time click or right click and edit. So we can go inside our terrain editor. And you notice right here we also have a function graph for altitude open. And we actually will going to use this. If you don't have this tab open, you can right click and select edit function, which will open this tab for us, but we'll keep it right now open for. So you'll notice in a latest view, and I think it starts from 2015, maybe we start having altitude production or a function for our normal standard terrain, which is actually very nice because we can control a lot of options and properties with the functions and have some other elements that we cannot do before. So right here, what I want to do is creating some sci-fi terrain, and we'll going this by increasing the resolution of our terrain. I want to create actually 20 by 48. You can create a little bit higher. Reason one, you can see how much grain we have, a lot of more details, and that's what I'm looking for. So after this, we'll go and select and click peaks. So notice when we apply the peaks, it's changed our structure of altitude production as well. We have it now very nice, very interesting. Next, I want to apply some texture to this, but I want dynamically apply texture. For example, I want on the peaks or on the higher altitude areas, I want to apply some different coloration than in below, like in the bottom right in those areas. To do this, we'll going inside altitude production, but before we do, you also notice we have right here enabled the zero edges. So if we disable, this is actually will be full resolution. You can see right here. And that is meaning if we apply some function elements, we will have, even for those area where with zero edges, we still receive some information because zero edges will apply afterwards. So just keep this in mind, and we'll come back. I'll show you more what I was meaning about this, but just overall, notice the zero edges. It does not apply to the function. It's applied to the size of terrain afterwards. Okay, let's go ahead. We'll go to our function editor. And you notice right here, we have it variable. We have it our altitude. So I want to actually take it and control it. The altitude, it won't be accessible for us inside the material editor for this terrain. So we'll need to do, it's a right click or click on elements and go in at output and create custom dependency. So let's go terrain editor and we'll just call altitude. This is node, it will be custom dependency to which we can connect and control some layout of our materials. To connect directly to variable won't work for us because on output we actually need it from -1 to 1 to +1. We need a wider range. Variable actually give it us output from different from 0 to 1. So what we need to do is add between them special mapper, and we'll go inside, right click, go to filters, and we can click and select a map node. So let's go ahead, select to the map, and from map we're going and select to the altitude of this. Be sure you select it from map to the variable, because if you don't, sometimes it does not ask if you select directly, and it will select some default other value, and I notice sometimes it does not pass properly. So be sure you select from the map, going up, and select altitude output. Okay, you can always extend, and be sure you're just selecting right here directly to this. Okay, so on a map, what we want to do, we want to set 0 on input and output -1 to 1. So this will provide us properly mapping for our covering. So let's go ahead at this point, click OK. Here we have our terrain. Let's take our camera, and I want to actually take my camera, move up, and look down on our terrain. So in this case, when I will apply materials, you kind of can preview and see what's going on with this. Okay, let's select our terrain. We'll open, and next let's create one more material, and this material I just for now will go create red, so I see how it's covered. Preview, we'll go inside the transparency, and we can enable, for now just let's take this and take to 100%. Okay, transparency. Next we'll go drive this with function, so it will open extend for us. Notice right here, when I set this constant, it's connected to our global transparency and its value 1. So our value is 1. If I set value 0, we'll have it halfway. And if we'll set value to -1, then it's become all the way. So just keep in mind -1, it will be no transparency will be. So it's the reason why we're using another area mapper, which has allowed us from -1 to 1. But again, it's kind of will need invert if I want, depend on what I want to do. Just right here. So our constant, let's delete it. We don't need the constant for now. I just only want to show how it will apply. And what we need to do is go to input and select external dependencies. And from this, we're going to terrain, what we have it, and look right here, we have it, our custom. So we'll go select this one. And at this point, we can go select directly to our global transparency. Notice what we have right now. We have it in those little areas. Okay. And actually, I want to leave this right there on those small areas. We'll go click OK at this point. Okay, so it will just apply. And let's go ahead and actually render to see our preview at this point, what we have. So you'll notice we have it very nice elements. Notice right here on edges, even it's all look flat, but it's what I said before, if you remember, the function applied before edge is smooth. So keep this in mind. And those areas will apply it. This can be easy fixed if you want to fix this. It's by going inside the material, going inside the presence, and right here with altitude range, add additional evaluation. So if we bring a little bit up, you can see how it start cutting on the bottom on those areas. So let's go bring a little bit this way and add a little bit fuzziness. So we have it a little bit smaller, smoother, and cut off those elements, because in this case, the altitude will apply after our terrain already have final shape. So we'll do it this way. I want to name this puddles, so we call like this. And let's, you know what, create one. Let's go create one more material. And this one we'll call edges. So we'll do just the edges for this one. Okay, one. Then we can go inside the color. Let's select different color for this. Okay. Then we can go inside the transparency. Same what we did before. We can go set 100%. So we can preview right here is our constant. Okay, and same things. this is when I apply all the way. We don't care actually about this constant. I just want to be sure, just showing you how to work. And we'll go to input, external dependencies, and we'll just link to exactly the same altitude. Okay. Next, what I actually want to do, it is going inside the filter, and let's go to opposite. So I want to inverse that. Go from this point to global transparency, and you can see now it is applied a little bit on the top, kind of going. We also can apply additional, if you want smoothness between those layers, if we want to see original, we can go ahead and create, for example, additional mapping, or even just normal filter. We can do this way. We can apply, put filter between them, add it, and just okay, let's set point right there. And you can set point by double clicking, so we can actually kind of like right there. So we have a little bit elements of the ground we can see. Let's enable smooth curves, so it will be kind of look nicer. Okay, bring a little bit up because I want those edges, and a little bit down. So I'm just looking on the edges where we apply it. You know what, let's go to a little bit straight. There you go. I think this one will look apply here, bring up. I'm just looking on these edges, so it will go very nicely. Applied, and I think this is almost look, yeah, right here it's look better. Okay. We'll click OK on this one. We'll go inside Advanced Materials, and let's reset the color. Now, actually, we can go to, just for now, set this color. Let's go ahead, click OK, and preview what we have so far with our materials. So notice at this point, we have a very nice material kind of distribution. Before we go next step, we have it in our low panels where we applied. We kind of cut off, and right in this area I still need to cut off some of those zero edge elements around, so I want to kind of fix a little bit those areas. But you can see we have applied to our high and other areas. So let's do this in the next portion of this tutorial.